Hey there, everybody. I'm Marine Layer Gamer, checking out the early access story trailer for Grounded 2. I've been a gamer for the first original Grounded for multiple years now, and I've loved this game. I just thought that I could give it more by becoming a creator. So, here we go. Let's have my thoughts on the Grounded 2 early access story trailer. So, we start out with a beautiful little thing of the Brook Hollow Park. And then we immediately go to the statue of Wendell and his robot. Now, there's nothing new here except these new purple flowers right in front of the Burgle robot. These purple flowers might change or replace the dandelion flowers, or maybe be a different type of dandelion flowers, or maybe be a way to get new petals, perhaps, because getting petals in Grounded 1 is quite difficult. So this could be a new type of flower that is used in the game to give the dandelions, because there's only 2 types currently, a bit more types, a bit more diversity. All right. Then in the next screen here, we have a bit of a look at our first lab location. So there's nothing much, just a lab and a hunk of dirt, it seems. The new thing really here is it looks to me to be wheat grass, or maybe even grass, seeding grass. If you could see right beside the lab, you could see the grass has some yellow tufts. This is a new type of grass. This isn't in Grounded. This seems to be maybe seeding grass, or maybe even a new type of grass. Maybe this grass could have new uses, like the seeds could be in replacement of grass seeds from the original Grounded, or maybe they could be used in couches as maybe something to plushen it up. And then we can also just see that one of the dandelions, the ones you could get the fluffy tufts from, has less dandelion tufts than usual. This is purely just an aesthetic change. You'll probably just get less dandelion tufts than usual, but it does help to bring a bit of change and diversity within all the plants in the yard, so they don't all look the same, which will really help bring almost a breath of fresh air to the new yard. So then after this, we get a closer look at the yard and a closer look at this wheatgrass, which in my opinion looks very, very nice. I like how we have different types of grass. So then immediately we have Salone Beaumont speaking, which is the new CEO of Omninent Practical Technologies. So in this video, we see she's talking. She's the one from the commercials. And she is the Omninent spokesperson, chief strategy officer. And she says that she is your friend. So this is a big thing that people have been speculating. Is she good? Is she bad? What is she? Seems that she, at least, thinks of you as her friend. So does this mean you're going to be working with her? Is she going to be inside the park? We do not know. So going back, we could see this little Brook Hollow City Park project picture. It seems to be in an Omninent lab. This is a map of the yard. As you can see, there are the 2 pine trees at the very corner, which is in footage of the game, and then also there's a statue of Wendell and Burgle. So this seems to be a quite accurate yet simplistic map of Brook Hollow Park. And this shows us a couple things. This shows us the pond in the middle, shows us a playground at the far right side, and then maybe even a house or shed at the very back. Now, are we going to be able to go in all these things? I'm not sure. Is this even going to be in the game? I do not know. but we'll just have to see. But this could be a reference to go off of what we're going to have in the game. Now we have some nice cool shots of the entire yard, and you can see the statue of Wendell. I love how the statue has the 4 teens in Wendell's arm. That's in Wendell's outstretched palm. That's quite a nice touch. And then if you look at the map, you can see a quite big flooded zone right under the picnic table. Just like the eastern and western flooded zones in the original Grounded, you can kind of see this might just be both of them. And because the map is so large, this one would probably be larger as well. And then in the next photo, we have just the ice cream cart. We've seen this. The only new thing it looks to be, there is a Billy Hog can right here. Billy Hog tray, if you may, right here. That is probably confirming that there are Billy Hogs coming back into Grounded 2, which is a food source used in human food and in smoothies. And then the next picture, you could see the red stakes. It looks to me that there is a firecracker on these stakes. You could see the little red tube almost. This seems to me to be a firecracker. Now, this could even be an interactable event in the game, sort of like the leaning shovel. Maybe it sets off and it's how you could signal for help, or how you could maybe even get up to a new area in Grounded 2. If so, that would be a really cool interactable event, an entire firework going on. And then the also big thing is that she said she's running a massive clandestine research project. Now, clandestine means secret. So this research project is secretive in the park. So people do not know about this except Ominent, which is kind of suspicious. It shows that they're not doing the best things down there. Now, in this next photo, we have the big trash can, and it looks to me like you're going to be able to go inside the trash can, maybe work your way up to the top or work your way down, which is going to be really cool, doing parkour inside of the trash can. So then next we have the big podium up on top of we have a crow feather up on top of this podium in the park, which shows that the crow feathers are going to be back, although you could probably tell from the crow. And then right over here, we get our first look inside of the lab. Now, it looks like there's maybe trying to recreate a habitat in the lab. It looks really cool. You could see the lab parts in there. But then up above, there looks to be a glass dome, and there looks to be pipes. Now, could this be the same lab where we've seen footage of the teens crawling through the pipes? Or could it be something else? Could we have more labs? And then the next thing that we have here is there's this broken glass. And this kind of doesn't look like much. But to me, I can see the two pillars on either side of the room. These look a lot like the Tesla or maybe even the laser pillars from the Assistant Manager boss fight. So could this be a boss? Could there be a Ominent boss in this room? You could see maybe the hatch that they would come down where the smoke is blowing through. Could this be maybe the boss of the Act 1 that we are getting in Grounded 2, because we're only getting the first act of the story? Could this be a boss, or could this just be maybe the boss has already left? But the big broken glass seems to me, the broken glass and the Tesla coils seems to me like it's a boss fight, and you can see there's only 2 doors out. Seems like a boss fight arena to me, however small it may be. Okay, so then after this, we have a little spider crawling through. You can see another picture of Sloan. And then you could see there are these beds that we have from Grounded 2. They're called lab beds, I think. and you're able to sleep on them, their respawn point. But then also it says level 2 over here, which suggests that this lab might have multiple levels. And you can see the ant. Then in the next photo, we have a larva going through and an ant egg on the wall. And then ant eggs in little shelves on the side, which suggests that they might be working on ant eggs and trying to run tests on ants, which is supported by more footage in this video. Now, then we kind of see the little pipe that the teens were crawling through afterwards. And the big thing is Salone Beaumont says that this stuff is scary, which means that it's not really good what they're doing. Have it be maybe the bugs are scary, or maybe they're actually doing bad things. Whatever it could be, it seems like there's something bad that they're up to. You could see that there is a board that says that they are working on taming creatures, it looks like. And maybe all those tameable creatures went loose on the lab and those tests failed. Then the next screen we could just see mainly a test folder, which is how you would primarily get information in the first game of Grounded. So those are going to be returning, which is happy. I always like to do a bit of light reading in my playthroughs. Keeps my brain sharp. So then after this, we can see there are two soldier ants that are dead inside of this little containment facility maybe. And then also you could see that there is a board, and on this board it's talking about brain surgery. And there's a picture of an orc receiver. So are they trying to tame ants? Are they trying to make ants warriors like Director Schmechter did? But as you can see, it failed. The ants are dead. So if they're trying to tame ants, how are the teens able to tame ants? Does that mean that they get that from this lab? Do they get the recipe after completing this lab? Is it not just a thing that they know? And then also you could see the little audio recording. Looks like it's different from the original things that we have in Grounded with the Burgle mustache. It seems to be like an ominent data disk. And then in this next picture, something that you guys might have missed is it looks to me like there is a salamander statue over on the shelves, or a tadpole statue over on these shelves. So is this saying that there's going to be tadpoles in the pond, or maybe even the flooded zone of Grounded 2, which is confirming that there will be tadpoles in Grounded 2? Or is this just something to remind us of little bugs from the first game? And then also you could see there's a pot below it. Kind of confusing to be in a lab. And then in this next thing that we have, there's the ant dead, and we start seeing that purple graffiti that we've seen in other earlier trailers. But the thing is, on the left side, you could see the little icon on the little green screen here is the surveyor scanner icon, which is saying that there's still surveyor scanners, and that's probably how you can get recipes like the original Grounded, how you could scan resources to get recipes, which I think is a very cool thing that they had that's different from most games. So then next we have a bigger look at the surveyor scanner, a bit different than the one in Grounded 2, almost looks like a biometric scanner. And we see it looks to me right next to, on the right side of a surveyor scanner, on the right side, it looks to me like the bottom of a robot almost. So does this mean that there will be TASE, Arcers in these labs, which Wendell totally originally created? So are they using them? Are they creating new types of them? Then the other thing that you can see here is on the far right side, there's a thing that says Ranger Outposts, which means that there are more than just the one Ranger Outpost that we saw in that little gameplay footage that they released. So, which means that there are going to be multiple Ranger Outposts in Grounded 2. Then after this, we could see that the purple graffiti that is being sprayed everywhere, and we can see a new type of workbench, it looks like, made with a metal base and grass sides and grass back. And then on that, you can see that there are upgrade stones. So we will be having upgrade stones in Grounded 2, presumably to upgrade your weapons. And then we have the Omnient little box, the Omnient chest that contains stuff. And then we have this writing, the purple writing on the wall that says, "Where did they bury the other teens?" Something like that. So this is further saying our theory that it is not an ant that's doing this, it's a human because they can write English, and it is not Director Schmechter, because why would Director Schmechter be asking where the other teens are? He kind of killed them. So this is someone that is looking for the other teens. Is it a reporter or an investigator? Who could be writing this? Well, there's more answers for this later in the video. So now we could see that the person has crossed out Sloane Beaumont's face, which shows that the person does not like Sloane Beaumont, so the person probably does not like us, because Sloane Beaumont is apparently our ally. Then we get a clip of the Orb Weaver attacking. And then we look at the cockroach. Now there is something thrown down. Is this maybe a flare or are these sparks? They could be flares like we had in Grounded 2. They weren't really used that much, but they could be returning. Maybe. So now we look at that lab that overlooks the park with an Orb Weaver, and then we get to look at the little gloves that are in the Grounded 2. I don't really like how the gloves look. They look pretty personalized. They look personalized right here. You can see there's 4, all different colors. I hope that you might be able to change how they look, because right now it just looks like sheet metal to me. Now it shows us a video camera, which is showing that there is some public stuff about this. And it's saying they're going to have no leaks and no teens. But then why are there 4 teens in the back? Or why are there 4 teens in the park? The teens are in the park. So you can see the teens all wake up from a spacer, just like the thing that we saw in the first Grounded in those cutscenes, how whoever character you were, you got shrunk and you could see the spacer looking down at you. This looks like a spacer to me, and they're waking up from the spacer. So this looks like they were purposely shrunk in a spacer. So could someone be doing this behind Sloane's back? Could it be Sloane trying to use them? Why are they there? Was it an accident, maybe? Does Sloane not want you there? And is she going to be hostile towards you? So then after this, we have just the teens kind of running around. We could see Pete in the pneumatic tube running away from an Orb Weaver Jr. Then over here in the lab, we could see there is a nice new button, it seems, to open doors, it looks pretty nice. Just running away from bugs, what I do in the first game mainly. And then we get a look at another lab. So there seem to be at least 3 labs confirmed. The 2 labs we've seen here, and then that ladder up into the lab, maybe in Burgle. So then we get a nice thing out into the yard. We could see we can see some new flowers that weren't in the first game over on the far left side, which is nice. And then Yeah, it just kind of gives us a view of the yard. But then it says, we've heard your requests and we are very close. And we're proud to announce that we are very close. So is this the devs speaking to the players? Is the Sloan speaking to, you know, the people out in Brook Hollow or in the fictional world, you know? Who is this speaking to us? Is this the devs saying that they've heard what we want, or Sloan saying what people in that world want? So then after this, we get a cool shot of the ant hill with just an ant going inside. The teens following after the ant. Then we could see the teen Hoops. We could see Hoops going after, sneaking after a red soldier ant. So does this mean that there is a new stealth mechanic in Grounded 2? Is this her pet? But then why would she be getting a pet soldier ant? Why would she already have one if she's picking up an egg? So is this stealth? Are the ants maybe friendly in this lab? Or does the ant just not see her? So we could see she has some nice armor. Then you could see that Hoops is running, carrying the egg in her strong arm, the torch in her weak arm. And we could see Max has a multi-eyed little helmet here. Multi-eyed, maybe like a fly. Are flies coming to Grounded too? Maybe. So now we can see the teens just putting the eggs in the stables, just showing how it works. And then we could just see the ants that they get coming over here. So then these look like new base supports. You could see little stem planks jutting out from the bottom and going in, sticking in the rock right below. Are these seem to be new kind of slanted supports, almost like the clover awnings that we have in Grounded 1, but with weed stems, which is cool, having nice supports for cliffside bases, so it doesn't look like it's just hanging off into nothingness. Then we get a really nice shot of the ants running, which I think looks absolutely insane. And then we could see a Omnient employee with a gas mask. Is this a new type of gas mask? Are we able to get these gas masks? And maybe even the clothes from the Omnient employees? And why is this employee just sitting out in the open? Is it near a lab? The next thing we see the scorpion jumping out, so jumping quite high, and then we could see a Sasquatch bike from the first game right behind it. Then we could see Hoops has some of her weapons on her fists, almost like brass knuckles, which look different to the other brass knuckle like things that we've seen. So maybe it's personalized for each teen, the brass knuckles. Then we could see a gas mask maybe on the teen behind her. Then we see Pete and Willow fighting a butterfly, and this butterfly seems to emit a cold thing. So is it kind of like how the ladybird larva gives you sizzling in Grounded 1? Almost like how some bugs give you different elemental effects. Now we just see a stink bug missing Hoops, but Hoops just falls down to a Weevil. Then after this, we just have the nice ladybug, a nice front view of the new ladybug. I think and then this seems to be a new spicy staff that Pete is using against bombardier beetles, which are going to be in Grounded 2. apparently. So we're going to have bombardier beetles, and this is Willow doing the cool thing with a dagger. Only getting a super on one dagger, though, which is you need to do both daggers to get more. Do you need to charge up both daggers to get a super? I don't know. So now we have maybe Pete wearing looks like a gnat mask, and then some glow sticks falling from the sky. These look pretty clean, so maybe they're ominent things. They don't look like they're made of bug parts. They look like maybe just actual plastic glow sticks that the ominent people use for lighting. Then we get a nice full view of the butterfly, and the body looks, to me, different enough from the moth that it's not just a complete reskin. And this also shows that the butterfly is just neutral. It just flew straight past the teens. Now we get a up-close look at the caterpillar, and the caterpillar looks... We've only seen the caterpillar from like the side and in sun, but here's just what it's going to look like when you get right up close to it. It looks absolutely insane. I love the caterpillar. I'm going to find this guy the second that I get in the game and probably build a house right near it. So next thing, we could just see burr stems, and Sloane's talking about wherever the thing is going, you're going to smile, which is showing that it's something good, presumably. At least she thinks that they're doing. Now you could see two mosquitoes. It looks like it's a base raid that they're going to do against the teens, because they're flying kind of out of nowhere, just coming to attack. So it seems like this might be a base raid. If so, I hope that they... I'm quite sorry for them. I do not like when mosquitoes attack my base. Then we could see the cockroach in the heat zone. It seems like a hot zone with new Everchar cold chunks, or maybe they're not even cold chunks, just what makes the heat. And this looks like to be underneath the roots of a tree. So maybe it's in a campfire. And our cockroaches maybe like our cockroach is heat resistant, so maybe it's almost like an antlion, gives you antlion armor, because Max doesn't seem to be wearing any heat resistant armor, so he must be burning up pretty badly. And then we could see some hamsters or maybe mice skulls that they're looking at, with it looks like maybe even a scabby between the two bottom teeth. Or so does this mean that there are real live mice in Grounded 2, maybe as a boss? Or maybe they're just walking around just as a creature? Or is it just going to be like Grounded 1, where it's just the dead hamsters? And then Salome Beaumont is saying, I can't believe I did it, or we did it, which makes it seem like she is kind of corrupt and just using them as pawns, maybe, and is doing all the work, and she's not giving anyone credit. So she seems like she's not the most nicest person, seems like. So then we just have the Orb Weaver, Buggy beating up multiple different bugs. And then we have this last little scene with a fight with a mantis. And the weapon that Hoops is wielding seems to be a weapon not seen in other trailers. Almost looks like the earwig thing that they were planning to add. So maybe there's earwigs in the game. And then it attacks, and the last new thing we can really see is Max holding up a new shield, which seems to be either a bombardier beetle shield or maybe a new mantis shield. It looks really cool. I like the green and the yellowish and the darker green. It looks really cool. I really like how it looks. And you could see he's just gonna 1v1 that mantis, which is not gonna go out well for him, it seems. And then Sloane Beaumont says you might even feel something, which seems to be the big cliffhanger, like, what are you going to feel? This seems to be what they're working on. So maybe it's getting yoked like you did in the first game. Maybe they're trying to make people more powerful or something. maybe. Then we just see the ending screen says just Grounded 2 with those purple flowers everywhere, further confirming that they're going to be a different type of dandelion. And then well, we're not done yet. Then it goes to a quick little scary thing of running up a hill, orc ladybug. It's all purple, so it's not just red orc receiver on a bug. It changes them so their eyes are purple and stuff. And then an orc stink bug. It roars, and then you pan to a very blurry shot of, it looks to me like the person that is watching you and the person that is doing all the purple graffiti. And it looks to me like this person has it looks like the spicy Coltana that some of the other teens have been seen using in the trailers. So do you need to kill this person to get the blueprint? Does this person just have a weapon that you can create? Or is it like a recipe that you get from killing or meeting this person? Whatever it is, it seems like this person isn't very nice and slices you with its sword, and it seems to have the helmet piece that is being drawn on all of these with all this purple graffiti. And the teen screams, and then it's done. Then it goes to Grounded 2, the little game loading screen, kind of. So that is my full analysis of the trailer. I hope you guys liked it. If you do like this video, please like and subscribe. If I do gain enough traction, I will come back and become a Grounded content creator. I just thought I'd try it out when there have been not many videos from the big names of Grounded YouTubing, YouTubering, yet. So I thought I'd see how much people like me, see if I'm a good content creator, see anything like that. So if you do like me, please like and subscribe, comment what you guys think about this trailer, and have a nice rest of your day.